Good morning. Today is Tuesday, which means it's Teaching Tuesday, and today's topic is you were indeed created for a time such as this. So we're going to talk about Esther, and we can go to Esther chapter 4, verse 14. For if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. Yet, who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? So I'm going to tell y'all about the book of Esther. And the book of Esther starts out with this king. We're going to call him King A because his name is hard to pronounce. And he's married to Queen Vashti. And so, King A is having this nice little party, tells his wife to come downstairs. And his wife is like, no. Which is pretty disrespectful, in those times you're supposed to submit to your husband and things. And Queen Vashti, she just kind of won't having it. So, King A is like, you know what? I want a new wife. And Queen Vashti is no more. So Vashti, she up out of there, and the king's people go and find these virgins for the king to pick from to be his next wife. And Esther is among these virgins. And Esther's mom and dad had died, so she was being raised under her uncle Mordecai. And he told Esther to not tell, where she's from, who her people are, because they were Jews. And, not everybody's a fan of the Jews at this time. So when the king sees Esther, he like, good gracious, yeah. And so at this point, the king, has picked the women that he likes from these group of virgins, and Esther is now in this preparation phase. I don't know about y'all, but lately I've been going through some preparation, where it feels like I'm being attacked on every side, or it feels like it's just so much that I have to learn in so little time. Preparation. Okay, so Esther was super duper obedient. She followed what her uncle said. Don't tell him that you're a Jew. Don't tell him where you come from. Don't tell him who your family is. Okay, she's still obedient. So then Mordecai, he would hang out in front of the palace to make sure Esther was okay. Because, since she's a Jew, you never know what's going to happen. So while he's hanging out in front of the castle, he hears these two men are supposed to be cool with King A plotting to kill him. So Mordecai goes tells Esther, and Esther, being the ride or die chick that she is, the biblical baddie, she go tell her husband, like, look, these folks trying to set you up. And he ends up having the two people hanged. They don't play no games around here. King A promotes this man named Haman, and Haman goes tells everybody, all the king's servants, like, y'all need to bow down to me. And Mordecai's looking like, no, I'm not doing it. And I feel like Haman's a short man, because short folks, they always gotta have some control over something. They gotta make themselves seem so big. And so the king's servants like, Mordecai, why you not bowing down to Haman? So then they go back and tell him that he's still not bowing down. And Haman, instead of having Mordecai killed, he has Mordecai's people killed. So he wants to kill all the Jews. Now, reminder, Esther is a Jew. Okay, but nobody knows that. So when Haman puts out this decree, it says that everybody's going to be put to death except for the one that the king holds the scepter to. And so when Esther hears about this from Mordecai, she like, well, this ain't got nothing to do with me. The king didn't call my name about 30 days, child. So, and nobody knows that I'm a Jew. So ain't nobody going to come killing me. And so then that's when Mordecai has to remind her who she is. Sometimes you just need a reminder. Like, baby, you still a Jew. Remember where you came from. Don't be afraid now, because you were built for such a time as this. So to sum it up really fast, Esther sends out a message to the Jews for them to fast 3 days. And on the third day, she gets dressed and she goes outside, and the king sees her, and he points the scepter to her and is like, well, what do you want, Esther? And it will be given to you. So she tells him, I want to have this banquet, and I want to invite Haman to the banquet. So basically, ride or die Esther and set Haman up to get killed, child. Because then at the banquet, the king is like, well, Esther, what do you want? And she's like, well, there is an enemy out there that is trying to kill my people. And the king said, well, who is it trying to kill my wife's people? And she said, Haman over there trying to kill my folk. That's right, him over there. And so, mind you, Haman had built this nice little gallows for Mordecai to be hanged on. The king took that and hung Haman on his own gallows that he built. Ain't that like God? When he said that he's going to make your enemy your footstool. So the Jews are saved. Yay. And Esther did that thing because she a ride or die. You know what I'm saying? But looking back at Esther, she should not have been anybody's queen. She was an orphan at a young age. She was raised by her Jewish uncle. So, she's probably missing some pieces on how to be a woman. But the king still chose her, still found favor with Esther. Because when the King of Kings calls you to something, it don't matter. Esther had said to her uncle, the king hadn't called me for 30 days. But when the King of Kings calls you, it don't matter. You were born for a time such as this. Don't get caught up in all the qualifications that you don't have or just how small you are. And don't forget how big God really is. Now, before Esther could become queen, wasn't she, preparing? She had to go through that 12-month preparation phase. Like I said before, I've been going through this preparation phase. And I know that God wants to take me higher in some things, but because I get wrapped up in myself, and I say, well, God, I'm scared. I'm not ready. And I don't have this qualification. Baby girl, you've been called for a time such as this. I wouldn't have taken you through all that preparation if I wasn't going to use you. Stop getting wrapped up in yourself. So just like Esther needed a little reminder, let me remind y'all today that you were called for a time such as this. Walk it out.